In a quiet town where everyone knew each other, a terrible crime had occurred. A young man was accused of murdering his girlfriend. Everyone was convinced of his guilt, but no one could explain why he committed this terrible act. In court, the prosecutor presented numerous pieces of evidence that proved the young man's guilt. He showed video footage of the young man leaving his girlfriend's apartment on the evening she was killed. Recordings of conversations the young man had with his friends were also presented, in which he expressed his hatred for his girlfriend and his desire to get rid of her. The defense team tried to refute all the evidence presented by the prosecutor. They claimed that the video footage could be doctored, and the conversations with witnesses could be fabricated. They also presented their own witnesses who testified that the young man was elsewhere on the evening of the murder. However, the judges did not believe the defense and sentenced the young man to death. He denied his guilt until the end, but it did not help him avoid punishment. The next morning, the young man was taken to be executed. He was strapped to an electric chair and given his last words. He began to pray and ask for forgiveness, but his words were cut short by the sound of a high-voltage discharge. To the shock of the spectators, the chair sparked, and the young man burst into flames. He was extinguished as quickly as possible, but it was too late. His completely charred body was removed from the electric chair and sent to the morgue. Exactly 3 days later, the local prosecutor was found dead in his home. His eyes had been gouged out, and then he was drowned in the bathtub. The police found only strange charcoal marks on the doors and bathtub as evidence. When it came time for the young man's funeral, his body was no longer in the morgue. It had disappeared from its box. Strangely enough, the second person to go missing was the judge. He had been sawed alive with a chainsaw. The local police used all their resources to find the killer, but the only clues they found were black charcoal marks.